Well, hello everyone, bonjour and welcome to France. And my name, as per usual, is Mr. Evil Dragon XXL, and unfortunately last week I said goodbye to him. However, on the good side, because unfortunately the one I was meant to have can't be here, Luke's back again. So Luke, last time I said goodbye, today I'm going to say hello. And I'll probably say goodbye again by the evening, but hello for now.
Yeah, hello for now. Hello, Liam. Hello, everyone watching at home. I'm like a bad penny. I always come back. But what a race I could well be coming back to. The penultimate round of the season. 8 rounds gone, 2 to go after, well, 2 to go including tonight. Only one more round at Interlagos after tonight. And that, of course, means we could very well see both championships being decided around the Paul Ricard circuit.
Indeed, and on the talking of the championship, of course, we'll talk about the permutations for tonight. And remember, if Casper wins with the fastest lap, he wins the championship. If Casper just wins normally without the fastest lap, he's the champion. If Casper finishes second with the fastest lap, he is the champion. And remember, if he finishes second without the fastest lap, JM must win the race, and Colin will be eradicated from this championship standings for next week, of course. Casper finishes third, Colin is eliminated and JM must win. If Casper finishes third, Colin must win with fast lap and JM must finish second. If Casper finishes fourth with fast lap, Colin must win and JM must also finish second. So we're in a very 50-50 chance we could see a championship. Remember last week Neon won, so both of the Racing Points have got a car that is capable of being up there. Who knows what they are going to be like today, but Luke, this could be very exciting indeed.
Yeah, it could be. As you said, Casper, he's got to win or finish second with the fastest lap to secure the championship. But realistically, any healthy point score will put him in a fantastic position ahead of next week. Constructors is a bit more straightforward, to be perfectly honest, for the Racing Point team. They're currently 51 points ahead of Haas. Haas have to outscore Racing Point by 14 or more. If they don't, the championship is over and Racing Point will claim that Constructors' Championship. And like you said, with the form that Neon's in, you'd imagine they're going to have a chance of doing that, despite Ali looking fairly good last time out, you've got to say, at the last round, the Russian Grand Prix. In the podium tier, it was Neon who took the win. It wasn't two Hasses who finished second and third. Cam coming up fantastically again into fourth. Cloudy Balloons in fifth. Casper was sixth. Colin was only in ninth. That's really damaged his championship chances. We'll see what he can do around the Paul Ricard circuit, a track where, a bit like Russia, in real life it's not fantastic for racing. On the game though, seems to provide some fantastic action.
Yeah, it always does. Of course, the French Revolution, you might say, here on this beautiful circuit. Could we see a revolution here tonight? Because Casper, if he gets first or second, he will be revolutionising this championship. His first season officially racing in Run Hub and on this game as well, and he is in a very good shout at winning it on his first try, which, if memory serves, is a very rare thing for most drivers to do anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. He's come to this championship, he's took to it like a duck to water. He had an absolutely fantastic start to the season. Some of the drivers have started to catch up a bit more, but that consistency at the start, a bit like when Jenson Button won the title in 2009, had that fantastic start, and then all the other drivers seem to be just picking up wins here and there. We've had Cam and Neon in the last 2 races take their first 2 wins of the season. A bit too late for both of them though for any realistic or any possible championship chance in the end. And JM and Colin, they're putting in the good performances, but Casper, he keeps picking up solid points. Last week was his worst result, but as long as he keeps scoring those like top 6, top 7 finishes, it's going to be hard for JM or Colin, unless they have 2 absolutely perfect races, to beat the Finn.
Indeed. And talking of Casper, we have some pre-race interview questions from quite a few drivers, which we'll scroll through as we get underway. And Casper was asked, is anyone surprising you this season in as much as pace or lack of it? And Casper responded, not anyone really. First full season here, so it was hard to tell who has got the pace and who hasn't. He was also asked, would you have preferred this track earlier in the season, or have the penultimate round been a good place for it? That's, of course, talking about France. And as I imagine quite a lot of people said, they would have preferred it being earlier, and that's indeed what Casper said. The They also asked, is this track where you might expect to do better here if there wasn't a manual pit stop rule, of course? And he said it doesn't change that much due to the fact that you have to two-stop anyway. And they also asked, how comfortable would you feel if this was mixed conditions? And Casper says he is prepared for absolutely everything. And that is crucial, Luke, because there could be rain today.
Yeah, there could be. I believe we saw it in the prospect tier or bottom tier earlier on. That race has probably just come to an end on YouTube. You can also check out the points tier, which started about half an hour ago. We're the only one on Twitch tonight, and then later on you've got Precision at 7:45 and the top tier, the Pinnacle tier, at 8:30. In fact, I believe Precision, unfortunately, isn't being streamed tonight, so it's just the Pinnacle at 8:30, which gives you time to watch all of this race, and I'm sure it will be an absolutely fantastic race indeed. But yeah, a lot of the drivers, I think, will be enjoying the fact that it is a mandatory two-stop around here. I know Colin said it will help him. One stop is possible normally, but you're always at a risk of a puncture during the end. But Colin, unlike Casper, said he'd rather it be dry. He's really happy with his dry pace, and he's not had much chance to get a lot of practice in. And I do find if you don't have a chance to do a lot of practice, it's always going to be that wet practice that just gets shoved to one side. You've always got to prioritise on dry. Formula 1 primarily is a sport that races in the dry conditions, so yeah, we'll have to just see how it goes. And as I say, Formula 1 is a sport what races in the dry conditions. Look at the weather, which is befalling us here at the circuit, Paul Ricard.
Well, as you said, anything can happen. I said, could we be in for a dry, wet race? Well, we're definitely in right now for a wet qualifying. Now, the question is, how wet is it? Well, it's only light rain, of course, so intermediate conditions. We'll see it, and presumably someone will let us know what the weather is going to be doing in the chat or somewhere, as they so often do our lovely spotters we often get from some of the drivers. But yeah, light rain conditions here already in Paul Ricard. This could put a bit of a damper on some drivers' championship aspirations. Though I can tell you what, some drivers already coming straight out on the circuit. Looks like, I think, one of the Red Bulls straight away.
Yeah, the fact that we have got drivers coming out straight away makes me think, is it going to get worse in the session? Is that what they're trying to avoid? If the weather conditions were going to improve, you probably wouldn't do that many laps in these conditions, and you just wait till later on. If it's going to get worse, you want to get out on track right now, set a valid lap time, and see how things are going to go. Wet qualifying and a dry race. Is what we are being told by Faustian Pact, so thank you very much. Although I've got a funny feeling that is Rachel, seeing as we've got some more Colin love in the chat, as we've got used to things being now. So, dry race, you're going to mainly set up for the race, obviously, so we could see a few cars sliding around in these conditions, especially in that first sector, this very slow, twisty start to the lap, and the final sector where you need those long corners, that downforce, and that is the part of the circuit that really does kill the tyres. You can see why this is such a good test track at Paul Ricard. The Sector 1, you've got the slow corners towards the end of it. Sector 2, apart from the Mistral chicane, it's basically one massive long straight. Sector 3 is all about downforce. So it really does test the setup of a car, really does test the driver's skill as well.
Most certainly indeed. Of course, we are missing 3 drivers today. We are missing Jonas, I know that much, and I believe, looking through, we are missing one of the... No, we've got both the Renault drivers. We're missing some other people. I'll just say that much off the top of my head. I always miss them. I think missing one... No, we've got both the Williams, never mind. We're missing some drivers, we'll say that much, Luke, won't we?
Yeah, we are missing a few drivers. I think it's one of the Mercedes might not be here, actually. But we have got some of the drivers now getting ready to start a lap. I think Cloudy Balloons is coming around the final corner. So let's have a look and see what he can do around this circuit then, the Paul Ricard circuit. 5.842 kilometres, 3.630 miles, 15 corners, 6 left, 9 right, and there's the first left-hander. Not taking a lot of curb at the moment. You'll notice that track limits are going to be a big part of this race. Maybe not so much in qualifying, but definitely in the race. A bit like Russia, plenty of penalties to be picked up. Now coming through turns 3 and 4, you hug the left-hand side of turn 4 very tightly indeed to give yourself the best possible one through turn 5. And unsurprisingly, Cloudy Balloon's very hesitant on the throttle at the moment, just until he gets used to where the grip is in these conditions. Flat out through turn 7. This would be normally where you're opening the DRS, that board on the right-hand side. Can't do that, obviously, in these conditions, as you now head down towards the straight at the Mistral chicane for turns number 8 and 9. Nice and steady there from Cloudy Balloons. Not looking too bad whatsoever at the moment. Make sure you get a good exit now as you come down towards turn number 10. The flat out right-hander at Signes. Well, flat out, I say, in the dry conditions, unsurprisingly. A bit of a lift through there and a bit of a slide on the exit of the corner as well. Now into this final sector where it always feels like you're always lining up for the corner, always working at the steering wheel as you just come your way through turn 11 there. Turn 12, it is possible to see dive bombs up the inside there if the car in front is on older tyres. Can get held up a lot at this part of the circuit. Staying off the curb again. Sometimes you see a lot of drivers hugging that curb a lot more, especially in the dry conditions as you come through turn 13 and 14. That pit entry changed, thankfully, during the 2018 season from what was a very awkward pit entry. Coming out the final corner now, throttle on for Cloudy Balloons. What is it going to be? 141.018. Says to me, it's pretty damn wet out there at the moment, although Ali B has knocked more than a second off of that time.
Yeah, looking at the telemetry here on Taz, there's a lot of drivers saying very quick lap times as well, so we could see, I think it might be drying up, Luke, we're looking at the times already down to the 39s. We've got a very quick lap potentially on the board here with Cam as well. Ali B, like I said, a 39.9 so far. A 41 there from Cloudy Balloons. Cam across the line right now. Slots himself in P5. Lowest head of sector 1, 2 and 3 was purple for me on the Tesla. So a little bit of a telemetry mishap right there and then. But yeah, already the circuit drying out. Remember, these drivers can go for more than one lap as well, as Okiki slots himself in 8th. Colin down there so far in 7th position. But I'd imagine we're going to see some drivers a little more fuel in the tank, perhaps doing maybe 1 or 2 laps here.
Yeah, definitely. Okiki said, no rain, please. And he's not done he's got the lap in. He's better than Zoned at the moment, but he is quite a way off the back of the order. Estimats looked like he was doing pretty well in the first couple of sectors as he heads towards the line. In the end, lost quite a bit of time at the end there, 6th position. So Ali's really, well, Ali and Neon, you've got to say, have really set the benchmark. Those two, I don't want to say number 2 drivers, but just because of how the season started for their teammates, Casper and JM, they almost have become number 2 drivers, but they have shown some fantastic pace later on. A few more drivers heading towards the line now. Tech in the Renault, he's put in some good times recently, goes into 10th place for now, only 3 tenths off of Cloudy Balloons in 4th. It'll be interesting to see if the Renault man can keep his good form up.
Yeah, most certainly indeed, of course. We've seen so many drivers making surprises in the second half of the season. Ali B, still says he's fast. I think that's just a bit of a telemetry glitch. Let's see if I can pop that off. No, it's going to stay with me there. So if you could see, there is Konkofna. That's a P3 then in the McLaren. There is one of the Renaults, gets himself well out of scooch there. Remember the pit exit on this circuit, very dangerous compared to a circuit. It rejoins on the racing line, which isn't ideal, Luke, is it?
No, it's not. It is something that the drivers are going to have to watch out for. There are 4 action zones that were given by the stewards ahead of this. Turn 1 and Turn 2, saying try and take caution, especially with the track limits around there. And I think you're also going to have to watch out for that pit entry, as you mentioned. Turn 7, where you need to get the traction down before you head onto the long Mistral straight, and turn 10, as we've already seen in the rain. That is a very treacherous corner indeed. But Ali still fastest, Waitsy now goes up into 2nd. So a couple of these drivers, Cam as well, I think, finding more time on their second runs, as I think Neon now goes up into 2nd place. He's actually the hot driver this week for his first victory of the season last time out, solidifying 6th. Cold is Okiki, still without a point, and will continue to try, but he'll be hoping for a better performance tonight. He's down in 13th at the moment. I'm sure Colin will be hoping he can get the other Williams a bit further up the order. Otherwise, his championship chances could really be over before the race has even begun. Yeah, but certainly both JM and Colin right down there so far. Both of them not really setting the timing screens ablaze, though Colin a double green sector. Same so far with JM, so they are improving as the tyres get a little more up to temperature. And remember, that fuel comes down as well. Coming to the line, let's see what Colin can do. Needs to get himself really up into the top 5. Currently sits himself 7th position. This is not working so far, as they imagine. Remember, some drivers might be on a wet setup here. You can see with JM squirreling away down the throttle here. He needs to re-up there as well. Well, he's in 4th so far, so not too bad. He is ahead of Casper, remember, who's currently down in 7th position. Remember, Luke, Casper, he does practice full conditions, but I think we could be seeing some drivers, Luke, setting their cars up for more dry conditions, and some trying to go for that quali pace and just put themselves higher up on the grid. Yeah, I'd definitely be setting myself up for the race pace here. You can make overtakes, you can see some DRS trains as well. You'll be able to do different things on the strategy, there's no points for qualifying. There's a possible 21 for each driver in the race once you've added that fastest lap point on. You can maybe change your front wing slightly for more of these conditions. Let's not forget, in Parc Ferme, you can change diff, tyre pressures you're not going to change, and you can change the front wing. But the diff and the front wing are going to be the ones where you might see the drivers just making a few changes to try and get the car more suited to these wet conditions. A lot of them seem to be doing 2 or 3 laps before they're coming into the pits. Kong Hofner, he's now fastest with 9 minutes to go, so half of the session to go. And yeah, Casper's 5th place at the moment, but with JM and Colin behind him, if this is how they finish the race, that would still be good enough for the championship.
Yeah, most certainly is. As like I say, Casper currently 5th position. Zone D, meanwhile, in 15th position, just hoping to get himself up a little bit more closer to his teammate. Let's say a top 10 would be ideal perhaps for him. Well, he's going to be staying in P15 for the time being. I think that might have been his out lap as well. Indeed, it most certainly would have been, because the ERS is completely full. So nice on board lap time then with the McLaren drivers. They come through towards turn number 4, into turn number 4 there, and then into turn number 4, as I'm now going to call it here as well, which is actually turn 5. Great to see there's some nice boards here that tell me what corner is which, Luke. It's pretty interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I prefer the circuits that have the corner names, but if you're not going to have the names, a massive big board that tells you what the number is always helpful. Whether they'll last that long after lap 1 at the race, I can't see the ones around turn 1 and turn 2 surviving the entire race, but we'll have to wait and see. But Zoned now coming into the braking for the Mistral chicane, 8 and turn number 9. Nice and steady through there so far. He'll be hoping to improve. I do wonder whether he had a slight off on his first lap, because he is obviously a long way off the back of the order. I mean, you can see there he's 8.5 seconds up. So this is putting him round about where Okiki is if he keeps his same time in the... Oh, he's off again.
That
could be in the barriers, and that is very lucky indeed that Zone D did not retire from that incident.
Tank slapper leg on the inside curb. Rear end, he almost caught it there. It's like you see in real life, Luke. Once you get the front, if you can catch the front, you're good. But the risk to you is it'll snap back at you. That's exactly what happened. Luckily, and I'm gobsmacked here, as like you probably are, Luke. How did he not lose a rail there? That was such an impact, and that really just shows you the fortune of the damage model in this game. Next year's game, I think if he did that, he'll be in a bit of a spot of bother.
Yeah, I'd like to know what McLaren make these front suspension and wishbone out. So I'm starting to think it's adamantium or something. That was one heck of a hit into the barriers there, but thankfully he's got away with it. Cloudy Balloons, he's just starting Sector 2 now. He's in 10th place, just behind his rival, Colin. Colin was asked, did Red Bull get lucky last week, and will you go on to earn 3rd place in the championship? Colin saying, I don't think they got lucky. They both drove cracking races. I was a bit unfortunate where the team held me in the pits, and I'm doing everything I can to get it into the top 3. So Colin, at the moment, just ahead of Cloudy Balloons by about 0.2 of a second. We'll see if that changes on this lap. And you can see Cloudy is improving by just under 0.2 of a second. So these two are going to be pretty close here for a place in the top 10.
Yeah, most certainly is. We are linked on board then with the Red Bull driver. Currently, as you said, sitting at 11th, hoping getting 10th. But this isn't looking so far for Colin. It's not really what he wants to be doing. JM, meanwhile, currently up there in 2nd position. So he's banged in a very competitive lap time so far. So what was looking earlier on in this season that it was going to be really a 2-horse race between Colin and Casper is really starting to turn into a battle between JM and Casper. Although, to be fair, right now, it's still a 3-horse race. Anything can still happen as we come into the final race next week. But so far, then, on board with the Red Bull driver, the only one here, and he's currently crosses the line. Doesn't prove, not by enough, though. Let's see if he goes on for another lap. So far as across the line goes one of the racing points. Well, both the racing points, might I say. That's Neon, currently still ahead of Casper, like he has been in the last couple of races. Really just showing maybe that is Casper starting to get some little niggly issues. He's starting to crack under some minor pressure, or is he just a little bit not confident at some of these circuits?
I think the main reason is he's on 5-lap old tyres at the moment. The intermediates don't wear anywhere near as much as the slicks do in terms of losing the tyre wear. But look at that, Casper, a 10th off his teammate on a much older set of tyres at the moment. I imagine he'll be coming into the pits this lap, and we are hearing that it might be drying up slightly out there. It does still look, as we try and get on board with one of the cars, yeah, there's no rain falling on Casper's screen now. If you're towards the back and you're seeing it maybe trend towards dry conditions, it might be worth it. If you time this right, you could get that last lap done in conditions that aren't too far off of being fully dry. If we just have a look at the moment, track temperature's 27. So I'd say in 4 minutes, you've got a slight chance of maybe the circuit drying out. This could be one to watch.
Oh, certainly. This is going to get interesting then. So we're going to see almost what you could say is what a 2010 Brazil. Remember, Nico Hulkenberg scored a shock pole position for Williams. Okiki, could he get a pole position here? He's currently in 15th position. He would most certainly adore to be able to do that. I'll tell you who would love to get a pole position right now, his teammate. So far 11, this is exactly what he needs to do. Some changeable conditions, a chance to get on those slick tyres. He probably has a dry setup on as well, Luke. This is going to be really everything's going to be to play for now.
Yeah, it is. It depends whether he's feeling brave enough at the moment. You look out on circuit, it's nowhere near dry enough at the moment. I am seeing a few cars, though, having to try go on the wet lines on their outlaps just to try and cool these intermediate tyres down. They might start cooking on their hot laps here, and it's going to be a problem. There's still 3 minutes 20 to go. You're going to have to head out in the next minute 10 for these drivers that are wanting to try on the slick tyres. That outlap is going to be treacherous. Let me tell you, they are going to be sliding all over the place on those set of slick tyres. On their hot lap, though, they might just be able to do it as, Kong Hofner. He's gone around at turn number 2, and that shows, even on these intermediates, it's pretty tricky once you get offline, and that's going to be the other problem for the slicks. You go offline on the wetter parts of the circuit, no grip whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. Aquaplaning, of course, is the terminology when the tyres can't kick up. Remember, these tyres kick up about a gallon of something a minute or something very much like that. But remember, once the tread goes, you can just see, look how dry it's looking. And this is also going to be an issue. Remember, these intermediate tyres, they do wear, of course, on this game. They can become, like it happened in Turkey, those inter-slicks there. As you got the other McLaren, I think, has either slowed down or has gone for a little spin down at the exit of the chicane. Has he got damage, I'm wondering? Front left end plate looks like it's gone. Yeah, so he's want to be careful not taking out those braking boards there, but he gets out of the way of Cam so far. No one really risking it so far on those dry tyres, but if they're going to go, they're all going to come out right now, Luke, isn't it?
Yeah, surely. They've got to go now, and they're leaving it as late as you dare, but if they make a slight mistake on their outlap, you're going to look very silly indeed. And Cloudy Balloons is the first one out on the circuit on a set of these slick tyres, and you know what? I think this is the right decision right now. If you're further down the grid, go for a set of the slick tyres, give it a try. If you see DRS getting activated very soon, you're going to have a fantastic chance. You've still got drivers on the intermediates as well, some on the soft tyres. Out of the championship contenders, they've all gone for a set of the intermediate tyres, so none of the championship contenders trying something different. Ali is the highest person up the field in terms of qualifying, in third at the moment, to try that set of the slick tyres, so he's going to be one to watch out for. But Cloudy Balloons is going to be the first driver. See what sort of lap time he can set. DRS still not activated, so that is saying to me, oh, there we go, DRS is enabled. It's slick conditions. It is now slick conditions for these drivers. If you're on intermediates, you've got no chance of getting pole position, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Lamprin also just had a bit of an off there through turn 14, or the Shing's corner, as you might say. Rear end stepped around, exactly what we saw happen earlier on to some of the other drivers. It is absolutely tippy-toe conditions right now. If you're on those intermediate tyres, I would be very concerned indeed. You can just see here on board with Cam, it's the right-hander up here, Luke, where it's so treacherous. And just look here with Cam, if he managed to do it flat, but all the drivers I've watched are having massive twitches. Looks like Cam's got there absolutely okay so far. So Cam could be someone to look out for. You always keep an eye out for. We've got 4 drivers on those soft compound tyres, and well, we imagine those are going to be the top 4 here today. Rich, Estimatch, we've got Ali B, and we've also got Okiki as well. That could be your top 4 here today, Luke.
Yeah, it could be indeed. Cam, he was a lot quicker through that fast right-hander at turn 10 than the drivers I've seen earlier on. Checkered flag is out. We'll see if Cam's managed to improve then, because he was really struggling at the end part of the lap. Fastest of anyone in the middle sector. Kong Hoffner was going quicker, but he'd invalidated. The Ferrari driver heads towards the finish line, and in the end, he does not improve. Loses a lot of time in that final part of the lap. Ali B's coming through the first sector. He's 2 seconds up on his personal best. He is so far quicker than what current pole position time is. We've got Cloudy Balloons. He's 1.5 seconds up on his personal best as well. Like you said, if you keep it clean, you'll manage to do it. And Rich and Estimats haven't managed to get round to the start line, I don't think, in time. Neither has Okiki, so they left it too late here. It's Ali and Cloudy Balloons. As long as they keep it clean, they're 1-2 on the grid.
Yeah, so I was about to mention that, Luke, as well, as you stole it right from my mouth. Yeah, those two haven't managed to get to the line. I think they missed it by about a second or two because they weren't just on the start line when the flag ran out, so they have just missed it at the death of the nail. Here on board of Casper, he needs to get himself on that front row. If he wants any chance here of getting this championship wrapped today, he needs to be right up there. Currently 6th. Well, he goes fastest, led, so that's what he needs to do. He's going to drop himself down, potentially second row. Here comes JM to cross the line then. In the other car, he stays 3rd. Then we've got Ali B. We've also got Cloudy Balloons then coming across the line. Cloudy Balloons then goes fastest level 1:31, but it's going to be a 1:31 dead for Ali B then. He puts it on pole position, and I think that might be all the drivers that have set a lap time. We've got Lamprin right at the back. He's, well, spinning. You can say that much, but Ali B has timed that to perfection on pole position. Cloudy Balloons up there in 2nd position, then Casper in 3rd position, Kofner in 4th, JM in 5th, Neon ahead of Waitley, Camke down there in 8th position. He's going to be a little bit disappointed, but I tell you, the big losers in this, it's going to be Rich, Esti and Okiki, who are probably going to be kicking themselves right now because those three could have put themselves in the top 5 positions.
Yeah, I mean, Rich, he said in the driver's press conference he's dropped off the pace and he's been preferring not to go all out in qualification. He knows there that that's a missed opportunity. He would have been 3rd at worst. I mean, looking at the gaps, you could have taken a fairly steady run. I'm starting to think if I was on slick tyres, even I'd have managed 3rd in that session. So yeah, a missed opportunity. Colin down in 13th. The game put him on another set of intermediates rather than the slick tyres. That has really cost him. But yeah, it is Ali on the pole position. Good news for Haas in that constructors battle as well. But Casper, he's up there in 3rd position, and with his 2 rivals behind him, that would be good enough.
I mean, certainly indeed. Looking at the chat below on Discord, looks like Cloudy Balloons not seemingly too impressed with Neon for some reason. I remember Neon on those intermediates on a flying lap. Cloudy Balloons, remember, on those soft tyres on a flying lap. And of course, it looks like those two caught each other right at the end. That might be the reason why Cloudy Balloons lost a bit of time. But like I said, Ali B from Cloudy Balloons, Casper, Kofner, JM, Neon, Waitley, Cam, Rogue, Rich, Estimat, Tech, Colin, Lamprin, Akiki, Zundi, and Gogs right at the back.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting point. Top 2 drivers obviously are going to have to start on the soft tyres. Casper's got whatever tyres he wants to go on, as have all the other cars. You're not forced to start on intermediate tyres. That would be incredibly cruel by the FIA. It definitely spiced the racing up, but it would be cruel indeed. So we'll see whether they decide to go for the softs or whether they decide to go for a set of the medium tyres. How long do different tyres last around this circuit? Softs last 9 laps, mediums 14, hards 18. I think we'll only see the hards if someone gets damage early on.
Yeah, most certainly indeed. But we also have to talk about something today, Luke, and that, of course, is our sponsors, partners, and our collaboration. And remember, of course, to our sponsors, thank you, of course, to Lex Level Racing, sponsors of the league, by providing a GT-like cockpit as a prize to our giveaway winner. Don't forget, of course, to say thank you to Liam RBS, sponsor of our trophy for each season. Don't forget to follow his Twitch at twitch.tv/Liam, all capitals RBS. 3M Sim Racing, sponsors of the league, by providing a pair of their sim racing gloves to the driver of the most poles and the driver of the most fastest laps so season. Of course, to our partners Vespertine, of course, who support our championship prizes, and ERT, the Going Get Tough Award. And don't forget, if you want 20% off Paul Ricard, which I think real life they might do as well, don't forget you could enter, of course, on the SD store, all capital letters with One Hub Racing, and you get 20% off this beautiful, but sometimes very intriguing track.
Yeah, I imagine it'd be a very fascinating keyring if it had all the blue and red off-circuit colours as well. That would be very an interesting one indeed. It's not a circuit, we've said that a lot of the drivers tend to really enjoy. It can provide some good racing. It's already provided a lot of excitement in the qualifying session. Obviously, we've got Ali on pole position, a good performance from him. Cloudy Balloons in second. He's still trying to get that 4th place in the championship from Cam. He's currently on 82 points. Cam is on 84. I'll have a quick run actually through the championship standings. Casper 127, JM 104, Colin 100. A reminder, if Casper is 21 points ahead by the end of the night, he will be the champion. Cam on 84, Cloudy Balloons 82, Neon 78, Ali 50, Kong Hoffner 38, Estimats 35, Tech 29, Jonas 24, Rich 17, Lambiprin and Waitsy, well, Lambiprin 16, Waitsy 15, Rogue 14, Gogs has 7, Risky 6, Farfrays only 1, and Okiki all by himself on no points at the moment. But you never know. Fresh set of tyres, maybe he's gone for more of a dry setup, maybe some of those further up the field went for a wet setup. If there's safety cars, anything could happen over the next 27 laps.
Most certainly, as you mentioned, normally every time I mention Okiki, something goes wrong, so I'm not going to say anything. Hopefully he has something happen to him, whether it's good or bad. We'll find out, of course, and I'll react to that if it happens, but I'm probably cursing him somewhere along this. I've done it every single race so far this season, so it's become a bit of a habit, as we have, is that Lamprin's left on the grid? Well, he's been disqualified, so that's not ideal there. So it looks like he's had a little bit of an issue, or he's gone for a quicker laboratory break. I imagine that's always a possibility. And Tech is extremely laggy. I've got reports then in the chat from, that is Colin's partner there, our good old spotter. Doesn't look like he's lagging on board with us, Luke, but remember, the lag could be one thing, but for other drivers, it can be very much a different story.
Yeah, it's not something you want, especially in the early stages of the race. If you're not confident on where the car ahead of you is, you can't really go for the overtake. You never know what's going to happen. I know I had an incident on this circuit once where I accidentally brake checked someone because he lagged into me on my screen. I was going to let him by, and he was in a slightly different place on track, and I went to slow down and ended up accidentally brake checking him, almost like Coulthard Schumacher in '98, but instead of spray, it was a slow incident, unfortunately, causing the problems. With the tyres, top 5 on the softs, Neon, fastest car on the mediums, and out of the championship contenders, Colin, further down the grid, has gone for the medium. So he's going to try and go a bit longer early on. Could see drivers going medium, soft, soft. I think the majority, though, might just go medium, medium, soft around here and try and push that tiny little bit harder.
Indeed, I was speaking to Cam earlier on as well as Jess. They brought up a good point, which I also brought up. Remember, we have to do a mandatory two-stop, of course. You have to pit twice. Now, some drivers here, and I don't know if they will do it, because we know how high the tyre wear can be at Paul Ricard. We might see some drivers go really early, straight away on that one, get rid of a set of tyres, and then do 2 medium stints. That could be an option then for the likes of Rich. It could be ST Match as well. It could be Okiki, Zone D. Let's see if anyone, the top 5 even, can do it. Remember, if we get a really early safety car, I imagine all the drivers are going to be coming in on those soft tyres, Luke.
Yeah, if anyone's likely to do it out of the top drivers, it will be your top 2, Ali and Cloudy Balloons, because they're the only ones on worn sets of tyres. Casper has a fresh set of soft tyres, which could be interesting in the first few laps if he gets ahead of Cloudy and Ali. We'll just have to wait and see. He'll be hoping to do so. Of course, he'll be gunning for that first ever One Hub Championship in his first season. Results in previous races around here. I don't believe anyone did get a podium the last time we raced here, but in the podium tier it was Scorpion who won, Peter Parker second, and Chris in third position. So a Racing Point finished second place on that occasion. Remember, if Casper does that with the fastest lap, he wins the championship no matter what. We'll have to wait and see how it goes, though.
Well, let's see then. We're getting ready for 5 lights then. A championship which could be decided in just around about 45 minutes. As we go then, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. And we are off then here as the lights are held, and we're underway then. Lights out, away we go. Look at Casper then, straight away over to second. I think he's almost leading straight away into turn 1 there. What a stonking start for your championship leader. There's one of the cars, a McLaren on the inside. They're contact into turn number 1. Casper leads though, straight away from contact. All sorts of debris though. Down there, looks like one of the McLarens, I think, getting involved. Certainly a Red Bull of Cloudy Balloons there. From second place going spinning around at the start of this race. But Casper leads, Con Kofner second, Ali B in third then from it looks like, is that JM in fourth already then, as the telemetry decides to have a little bit of a timing delay there. But yeah, So both of the Hasses were already third and fourth, and surely Ali B's going to be jumping straight out the way then of his teammate at the first opportunity as everyone just tries to slot themselves in position. Down the back on the inside there, Colin getting up the inside of Neon. A bit of contact there between those two, and Neon really acting as almost the perfect buffer right now between him and Casper.
Yeah, definitely. Don't know what happened there. Cloudy Balloons, he got a better start than Ali, but then but Casper got an absolutely lightning getaway there. So did Kong Hofner, trying to send one down the inside, made that bit of contact, no damage done. Fortunately for him, Cloudy Balloons with quite big front wing damage, he's definitely coming in this lap. Lambie with only mild damage on a set of mediums, he might just try and stay out for that slight bit longer with 12% damage on his tyres, but Casper could not have asked for a better first lap. The Finn leads in France, he's on his way to the championship, and there was a bit of a timing glitch on my end there. I was about to say Waits is very close to the back of JM, but that is not the case. That's just the timing sorted itself out. First time they'll be able to use DRS is next time around on the Mistral Straight. Will Casper be under any pressure from the McLaren behind him?
Well, you always got to look at those guys behind him. Remember, you got the top four absolutely rocketing. Remember, the top four really are going to be an interesting concept here because they're going to be pitting a lot earlier. And we know everyone's going to be doing a two-stop strategy here. But remember, these guys on those medium tyres, I imagine they're going to be doing, what, a medium soft, I imagine, is going to be the ideal strategy. As here we see Ali B trying to line up Kong Kofner. He's a little bit too far back so far, but Casper starting to pull that gap so far. Half a second already. Kong Kofner, who has been having a little bit of up and down seasons so far, he is currently sitting himself a little bit further down than he probably would have liked. He is currently sitting down, I believe, right the way. Let's have a look where he is. It is in 8th position in the standings. So he is a little bit further away from the likes of Ali B and all that. So you could definitely say he is a bit of a spanner in the reverberal works. Right now it's Tech and Akiki swap position. I'll tell you what, Tech up currently into what is now 10th position, battling the inside then on those soft compound tyres, and he's really hoping to get through this field. This is almost one of those situations where if you're on the soft tyres, you need to make moves quickly.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to be stuck around like Okiki and Richard. Oh, comes round in the Ferrari, and someone's made big contact with him there. Not sure who that was. I think it might have been Lambie, who's now going to have to surely come into the pits. Virtual safety cars, so all the leaders having passed the pits, obviously, they won't be able to do anything about that. Race gets neutralised. Everyone has to follow to their deltas, and a few drivers, choosing to come into the pits. Esty and Zondi with front wing changes as well. Those things are going to get really busy down Alpha Tauri. Both of their cars needing some front wing changes, and for Zondi and Cam, not sure if they did have any damage, but I imagine they might have done in what did look like a bit of a messy situation, to be honest, all the way from Tekken Okiki downwards. Saves him a bit of time in the pit lane, and it is a fairly long pit lane around here, 22.5 seconds pit loss. Back to green flag racing conditions. Tech and Estimat's first drivers to pick up 3-second penalties. They won't be the last. Yeah, most certain. There's always a possibility, and now you surely got to wonder, is Ali B going to jump out the way then of his teammate? He's looking at this, the slipstream, he's going to pull to the inside. Now, is he going to lift off here, Luke? I'm wondering, or is he going to hold that line? He's going to hold it, so the two Haas drivers are not playing ball currently, and this is always going to be a little bit interesting here. These two drivers do not need to end up getting in contact. That is the last thing you could do. A big snap of oversteer there from the Hassler, currently running Michael Schumacher's helmet, of course, there. And let's see, this is really going to be the moment here, potentially. DRS activated on this lap. Remember, of course, we didn't really get a chance last lap due to the fact we had the virtual safety car. So let's see, is JM going to sliver on round the outside? Because up front, Casper starting to pull away, and you got to start wondering, is this best for the championship between these two? Well, you say that, but if JM gets ahead of Ali, he's still not in a position to win the championship at the moment. So I think as long as they're behind Casper, let them race, have their own little free racing. Yes, maybe for the constructors it's going to be bad news, and possibly for that second place as well, because of our prizes for first, second and third in the Drivers' Championship. So it could make a difference if he does retire, and that allows Colin to catch him up in the standings. But for now, I say let them race. I think as soon as JM gets a chance to have a go at Ali, when Ali's not got the DRS, he'll be flying past fairly rapidly. But gap's starting to open now, actually. Ali almost a second there behind Kong Hoffner, I should say. So I'm not sure if he's beginning to struggle a bit more. They've got a fairly substantial gap ahead of those on the mediums. 3 seconds back to Vogue, Waitsy, Neon, Tech, and Colin and Okiki. Rounded out the top 10 for now.
Yep, Colin and, Akiki battling hard here with Ritz. Is Ritz going to try around the outside into Singh's corner? Then that's going to be brave then. Right around the outside. Has he done it around the outside? Yes, he has then. Straight around the outside into one of the fastest corners in Formula 1. You must say that requires the ultimate, ultimate commitment to your rival battling you that he doesn't run into and he lifts off there. Because if they had contact there, that would have been an aeroplane accident, wouldn't it, Luke?
Yeah, and Ali has, I think, I don't know whether he ran wide there, but it was very convenient if he did. He's let JM through. So now that he's dropped outside of DRS range, JM has gone past. He's up into 3rd place. Can he reel in Kong and Casper, who are just starting to battle ever so slightly? Okiki coming into the pits, getting rid of those soft tyres. Colin's gone down the inside of Tech. He's in 8th place. I think he felt like he was being held up a bit here, so things are starting to get interesting in this race. The lead 4 carry on, though. For how much longer are they going to want to keep on those soft tyres? And like I said, it was great respect, I think, between Okiki and Rich. You have to trust the other driver in that situation, that they're not just going to chop you off and cause a huge accident.
Yeah, indeed, as Akiki comes out the pit lane, he's just behind ST Mats there in that very awkward pit lane. There's a bit of a weird tritzling from the William drivers. He's currently, like, in that, well, you might say the option for the top 10 so far list rate. Up front, though, you got to say it's certainly Konkovna having a look around the outside, but Casper, he's a little wily old fox right now. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He knows if he finishes 1st or 2nd, he's in a good shot of this title, especially as long as he can keep JM slotted in behind him. And let's hope, of course, if they do start battling, nothing happens. You know what happens. We've seen before of Michael Schumacher battling for a championship, of course, but never say never, and I highly doubt anything suspicious or anything would happen at all. Like, these drivers are the utmost respect between every single one of them, and we have a race on our hands now.
Yeah, we do. I mean, what you said about respect, there were no stewards reports across all tiers at the Russian Grand Prix, which was absolutely fantastic, and member stewards had a very nice, easy day indeed. Kong Hoffner, though, he's shown he's not afraid to have a go at Casper. He's not in the championship battle, and that's the last thing Casper wants, is a driver who's hungry to get a victory this season right behind you, because Kong can afford to go for the risky dive bombs that Casper, in his situation, just can't go for. If Casper retires from this race and JM finishes 2nd, that gap in the championship, which is all of a sudden, at this moment in time, 23 points, would shrink down to 6, and that is a much different proposition. So I think every time Kong goes for the move, I don't think Casper's really defending too much, and you can see that now. Kong to the inside, takes that position, back on the racing line, back into the lead of the race.
Yeah, indeed, Konkovna on course then right now. We're only on lap 6. Now, I'm wondering here, and I would not be surprised Casper pits on this lap. 3-second time penalty for Okiki as he gets himself the first track limit penalty. As there you can see that on board of Casper, you can see a little bit of a lift off there, playing conservative, just making sure, looks after the car, looks after the tyres. He knows right now the best thing, Luke, and I imagine he'd probably agree with him, just to pit now. Get yourself some clean air, because looking where he's like to come out, he's got a huge gap, really, between him. You've got ST Mats, really, and Okiki. So if any of these drivers want to pit now, you get yourself clean air. Now, of course, and Ali B, he's going for it. He knows there's a clean air, and I'm wondering, surely, if anyone behind is going to do like Colin or anyone down there, just try and get themselves some clean air. Well, Colin, of course, on those medium tyres. So, and of course, quite a lot of them on medium tyres. We've got Rich down there in 10th position, doing quite well, actually, as Rich. He's been very quiet this season, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's sort of like faded off. He looked like he could be near the front of the midfield, but he's just sort of in that midfield zone at this moment in time. Is Rich 12th in the championship, 17 points. He is one of the race premium drivers. Cost yourself £12 for the 12 months. So what's that, like £1 a month? Not too bad, not too shabby whatsoever. 5 Freddos a month, basically. Thanks a lot, chocolate inflation. But yeah, you get a shout out from us. You get your own little highlight on the standings. You get your own signature for the forum as well. I wasn't surprised, though, getting back to the race, that Ali was the first driver to pit. His front left tyre had just popped above 60%. He did start on an older set of the soft tyres, of course, so that will be why he's come into the pits, as Rogue and Waitsy are starting to go for this battle now, and that's allowing Neon to catch the two of them up. So we've now got a battle for effectively the leader of the medium cars.
Yeah, the second battle for the lead, like we say, in this current situation. Then the battle between the, well, they say the battle for the silver spoon, right, we say, because it is 4th position. No, 4th is nothing to be ashamed of. And you've got to wonder right now is who's going to jump first. You've got a yellow flag for Lamprin, and they're all coming in. They're all in the pits. Oh, as he just stopped the car, is Casper almost straight into the back of the McLaren. But the top 3 all in straight away then. As soon as they saw a yellow flag, they jumped straight away. I think a little bit, these guys are literally on a proverbial knife edge right now. They're all so looking out for each other here. He's in the pits. Let's see a little bit of a slow stop, but he's going to jump him. He's going to jump it. They're inside each other, and look at that. JM a quicker stop than Casper, and Casper down in behind now of his rival. And that there, you might just say a little bit surprised. Look at Ali B's come out, and all of this, he's leading.
Yeah, that's why they came into the pits. Ali B, the undercut is that powerful around here. The difference between the fresher tyres and the older tyres, it's 1.2 between fresh softs and fresh mediums. Fresh mediums versus old softs. Probably talking nearly 1.2 seconds the other way. So Ali now in the lead of this race. Casper down to a net 4th position. For now, doesn't need to panic, just needs to make sure he can stay with these guys. It won't matter too much. A 3rd place for JM and a 4th for Casper would still keep it going until the next round, but it would be incredibly difficult as Kong now trying to go round the outside at turn number 8 on Ali B. These two battling are going to allow JM and Casper to catch up a bit more. Pretty much going to have a 4-way battle for the lead, I think, in a not too distant, well, for the net lead, I should say. But if these drivers are battling, they're not able to use their fresher mediums as much, and that might help those that are currently in the actual lead of this race. Waitsy, Neon, Rogue, Colin, Tech and Gogs, the 6 cars ahead of these.
Yeah, those 6 cars, of course, all separated by, well, on the timings, the telemetry, we'll have a look at them just in a few moments' time, and look at them all, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, all in a little train of cars. Then we've got a bit of a gap down to Gogs so far. He, remember, did not settle lap time in qualifying, but at least 5 drivers, all nose to tail. Neon right now is probably, you wonder if Neon hoping right now for a safety car, sooner or later, because if he gets a safety car right now, it's going to be really good for him. Like I said, further down the field, you got this battle, this almighty battle right now, you might say, Konkofner, Ali B. Then we've got Jim. Casper, looks like it's dropping off a little bit. Remember, like, as it stands, currently would be net 4th. It's working out for him so far. Looking at the permutations, if Casper finishes 4th, Colin must win, and Jim must finish 3rd or 4th with the fastest lap. And so far, the fastest lap is currently going to, let's go and get it up quickly to Casper. And that is not what to do, but I tell you what, JM looks like he wants to get that move on pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does, and this would be, this is going to be an ideal situation if JM could get ahead of Ali B and then try and get ahead of Kong Hofner and escape, but instead it's Ali B who's looking all over the back of the McLaren, who's having to go defensive through turn 10. Is there a chance that the Haas can try and get a switch back here? No, he's being forced the long way around, and there's many different lines you can take around these corners. That fastest lap at the moment is winning Casper the championship. As things stand at the moment, that fastest lap wins him the championship, even after the pit stops. We'll have to see how that changes, because obviously drivers will get faster towards the end of the race, especially if any of the medium runners put the softs on their next stint. So I'd be very surprised if any of these front group actually end up being the one to set the fastest lap in this race. And if that's not the case, JM needs his teammate in between himself and Casper. Too early probably to be calling for team orders now in the final few laps of the race. If JM's still all over the back of his teammate, I think we'll see a swap.
Yeah, you have to imagine, sure, right now this championship, although very slender, it's still looking, remember, as things stand, remember these guys currently are battling over 7th, 8th and 9th and 10th, but as things stand, they are 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, of course, subject to change, because you never know what happens up front, a late sudden safety car or something goes on. Remember, it's very rare we're going to get a full-blown safety car here, because really there isn't a lot to hit. Ali B though, trying to go around the outside again, and those two have touched. So now here we go then, on board we go with Casper looking at the back there as Ali B gets well out of it there. Does not want to get involved right there with his teammate. Decides to lift off on the exit of the corner. Now, the idea here would be trying to keep up and hold Casper up for as long as he can. But he's going to go defensive, try and force Casper long way around. You can see there, Concofner and JM battling, and there's Casper having absolutely none of it. Straight down the inside, but they touch on the exit. Somehow, though, they don't end up spinning each other around. And that there almost ended in tragedy there. As in comes Colin, in comes Rogue there. That's for your top two real guys up the front on that different strategy. But that almost ended in tears all of a sudden for Casper.
Yeah, he just got a bit of wheel spin on the curb coming out of turn 11. I think he made a bit of contact with Ali B. It's definitely slowed them up. But yeah, Ali and Kong making that contact. Ali, he got stuck on the curb coming through the chicane. Thankfully got away without any damage though. But he's now on the older tyres of these drivers, let's not forget, and down in 4th place. So he might find it slightly harder. Colin and Rogue have come out on another set of mediums, so they'll have to go to the softs at the end of the race. Let's not forget, you do have to use at least 2 different types of the Pirelli tyre. So we saw Ali give it a go for Kong. It didn't work. What's JM going to do? He's got the DRS, but he's got less ERS on this occasion. He's pretty much running out of ERS down the straight here, and he can't quite get close enough. That doesn't mean it's over though if he gets a good run out of this chicane on the run down towards turn 10. We've seen moves happen here earlier on. I don't think JM's going to be quite close enough on this occasion, but that lack of ERS could prove crucial, especially if Casper starts catching him up, because he will still have that advantage despite being in the DRS train.
Most certainly, of course. Remember right now, JM, it's a marathon, not a sprint. The wise words of Lewis Hamilton before he locked up and went straight on, of course, by hitting the wrong button at Azerbaijan. But remember, of course, it most certainly right now is a marathon, not a sprint, Luke, because there's a long, long point of this race, and none of these drivers need to make a mistake, especially for JM. One mistake or one trip off into a situation where he's going to drop down any positions, and it could be all over for the man who's currently running. It's second in the championship, Colin. It's not looking very good for him so far. He's currently down in 9th position so far. It's not looking like he's going to be of any shot of getting nowhere near these drivers so far. But never say never. There's a long haul in this race. There is another, 15 on a bit laps to go. And now surely here's an opportunity then for JM to get past Concofner, DRS, Slipstream, Rich Mix. Surely all of them enabled right now. This should be Concofner go one way, he can go another. It's not going to matter too much. He's going to stay where he is. He knows right now it's all over for that battle for now. He can try and get a good exit. He saved a lot of his ERS. Let's see, a good little sliver up the inside here. Let's see, he'll burst the ERS bubble right now. Use as much as he wants, but he's not going to do it right now. He's going to play mind games. He's going to play it long. He knows if he can stay with him, he'll get DRS again. But this right now is not what Casper needs. Casper right now wants to get himself straight up into 2nd position. Because remember, if he finishes 2nd, you win this championship.
Yeah, 3rd man in the train though is always an awkward situation to be in. Neon has come into the pit, as has Waitsy, as has Tech. So this is now offensively going to be a battle for the lead. Will they come out on a set of the soft tyres? They have gone a bit longer on the mediums than some of the others. Gogs has come out on a set of softs, and I think if you are a bit more gentle with the tyres, you can definitely push 2 sets of soft tyres towards the end of the race here. So that is going to be one to watch out for, as JM now sets the fastest lap of the race, a 132.346. That's even worse news for Casper, and he will have seen that on his screen, of course. He needs to try and find a way as Colin takes that fastest lap of the race. I wouldn't write Colin off yet out of this. If any of these front drivers start getting penalties, if they have to go to mediums at the end, Colin will have to be on the soft tyres, so he could be lightning quick at the end of this race. It's been a very decent first stint, you've got to say, from the Welshman. Up 8 positions, 13th to 5th, and I can't see him dropping back too far in the latter stages. Maybe Neon might have a chance soon, though. He's only 1.5 seconds behind, and on a fresh set of the soft tyres, so the Williams might have some defending to do, not too distant future.
Yeah, but certainly keeping on this battle up front. I tell you what, though, JM's not streaking away, is he, so far? He's just staying, like, really kind of giving Concofner DRS right now, which, I mean, as long as he can't get past, it's not a bad strategy. Remember, JM right now, if Casper finishes in 3rd position, would, I believe, the championship would still go on to the next race, remember. If he finishes 2nd as well, if Casper and 3rd will go on to the next race. But keeping Kogdovna in that DRS straight, although risky, as long as he can't let Casper get past, working for him right now, isn't it?
Yeah, we saw this happen at Azerbaijan with Hamilton, Leclerc, Verstappen. Leclerc only got passed by Verstappen once the Ferrari dropped out of DRS range. So it is in JM's interest, like you said, to just keep Kong close enough that he's got the DRS, but not close enough that he's going to have a battle, because that will slow you down and you might start losing your tyres in the dirty air. JM's running short on ERS. He's not exactly looking fantastic on fuel at the moment. He's got half a lap extra. None of these top drivers really running with more than a lap of fuel. The first driver that has got more than 1 lap of fuel is Waitsy in 8th. So it's not like they can afford to be in rich mix for long. So even if JM wants to do a lap of full rich mode, full ERS to try and break that 1 second window, he's not really going to be able to at the moment. He hasn't got the tools at his disposal, unfortunately for him. Kong, though, he's dropping back a bit. He's about 7/10 of a second behind at the braking zone. You'd expect him to be closer, having had the DRS. So it says to me he's struggling slightly more to stay in contact, and that might be an opportunity for Casper in the next few laps to get ahead, get up into that 2nd place, which, as things stand, with JM winning the race, would still not quite be enough.
Indeed, this is going to get very interesting. And remember what we saw in 2016 in, of course, Abu Dhabi. But the driver who is losing the championship tends to suddenly start slowly backing people up. Now, if we get a late safety car here, this could put absolutely anything in this. That's why I say the safety car here could really, really spice this up. Anyone who decides to have an off. Remember, of course, having a mistake around here and hitting a wall is very difficult. As Neon, by the way, has got himself ahead of Colin, I believe. Has he not? Because Colin, he was running in that position. Now Neon's up there, so Neon starting to come alive more and more. 131.5. That's really what Casper needs, is Neon just taking any opportunity for anyone else away for getting a faster lap. In the pits has come Cam and Cloudy, who's both having a little bit of a torrid time, especially for Cloudy, running 2nd at the beginning of this race. Cam on a set of hard compound tyres, going to be doing the next, 14 and a bit laps, 13 laps then on that set of tyres. As here we are then on board with Casper, still behind Konkovna, who's still got that DRS crucially then on the man leading this race. Only though 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers with penalties, and that of course Rogue, Tech, ST, Okiki and Zondi. Gotta say, so far Okiki's doing quite well actually. Currently now, as I say that, just going on overtaking the car, currently up in 11th position so far. He's not too far behind Reg, of course, who's going to be on tyres that are definitely going to be starting to go off soon. Remember, Okiki on a lot older tyres. Remember, Pitts has gone in for Cam 2 times so far, and that, of course, reminder, 3 drivers on their 2nd stop so far. Luke, that Cam, Cloudy and Lamfred. If we get a safety car right now, those 3 are probably going to be pretty happy.
Cam and Lambie maybe not so much. I wouldn't mind an opportunity to come into the pits and put on a different set of the tyres, because they are on the hards. That incident with Cam and Lambie and a few others as well, and then Cloudy Balloons on lap 1 has really ruined their race. As Kiki into the pits then, so that's going to be mediums until the end of the race for the Williams. It has got rather overcast around this circuit. No rain is forecast, we've been told, but it is getting rather overcast at the moment. Air temperature 19, track temperature 27, so they're not going to be putting as much heat into the tyres as they would be without the sun blaring down over this circuit. So that's going to be something to watch out for. Casper, he's closing in on the back of Kong here. This could be an opportunity to maybe have a move for 2nd place. He's going to have to go the long way round if he wants to do that, and not able to do so. Can he see one up the inside? That was risky. There's contact. He's able to hold on to the car though, and Ali takes 3rd place, and that has cost him a lot of time. That's not what you need to be doing, Casper, my friend. Bit brave to go for that opportunity. Yes, Kong squeezed him into the braking zone, but I don't know why Casper didn't just back out for that and live to fight another day. He's cost himself a position, no damage, but he has cost himself a place and 2 points, and it's beginning to look more and more likely that the Drivers' Championship battle, at least, will carry on to next week. In terms of the Constructors' battle, it'd currently be 34 points for the Haas team, 23 for Racing Point. So the Pink Panthers would secure the team's title. But for the drivers, unless something changes here, we'll be continuing that fight in Brazil.
Yeah, you gotta say that was a little bit of a day late, very much a dollar short there. He tried around the outside, and you can just see potentially a little bit of desperation right now for Casper. He knows right now he needs to finish second. He knows if JM wins, he has to finish in that second position. Right now, it's not working for him. Right now, he's down in 4th position. He's now behind Ali B, the other Haas driver, who has absolutely nothing to lose in all of this. Casper has everything to lose. These two in 2nd and 3rd have nothing to lose. So they're going to be going at it like a wet Monday morning on a Sunday. Right now, look, here on a Friday, it's Casper sending on back up the inside then on that Haas, and he's got him straight away then, so he is not sitting down and waiting. No DRS, remember, there for Ali B, and that is how easy it is to pass. Just look at the clouds, low. Just a lap ago, Luke, it was pretty much sunny. Now it's not sunny, it's cloudy, and is a slow descent into the dark mist. A board has around the outside there. Where did that come from then from Ali B? Trying to go around the outside. Well, it's not over yet, but now it is. You can see a little bit of ERS management then from Casper. Ali B, surprisingly there, decides he wants to come straight back at it there. I wasn't expecting that.
I don't think Ali B will, to be perfectly honest. It's just because he's got more ERS at the moment, and Casper started clipping on his ERS. As here we go, Kong's gone for quite an aggressive undercut here into the pits with 10 laps to go. This is going to have to be a set of the medium tyres, so not deciding to stretch those mediums to a set of softs. Is this going to be the move that wins the McLaren driver the race? It's definitely going to put him into the lead. JM, Casper and Ali B are going to have to respond to that. Let's not forget Ali and JM in the same team, and double stacks don't work on this game. So I think on this lap, we'll see one of the Haas cars come in, and Ali will just do the opposite of whatever his teammate does.
Most certainly indeed. Remember, of course, in terms of the driver who's made the most position changes so far, you've got to say it's Colin currently down there in 5th position, up 8 positions so far. The big loser, Cloudy Balloons, so far in this race. So, checking right now, it's Colin. He's on a course for a reasonable result, but it's not going to be the result he wants, remember, because, well, he wants to be winning this championship. Right now, he is in 5th position. He would be out of the championship, especially, but never say anything. If these two end up battling or something happens, these two collide, crash out of the race, God forbid it may happen. We never know. We've seen bigger surprises in Formula 1 and in league racing, but never say never. As I can see there, a little bit of mist coming off the rear end of some of the cars right now. That's just a little bit of user fog as in comes the top 2. Ali B's forced to stay out, like you said, Luke. So these two immediately reacting, and I surely imagine a set of medium tyres with the pair of them.
No, you might be able to be brave now and go for a soft tyre. We'll have to wait and see what the drivers go for. I think it will be the mediums, to be honest. Maybe another lap or two and it would have seen a pair of... Oh no, it is Red Wall soft tyres for the pair of them, JM and Casper. So Kong, I think he's going to take the lead of this race here, but I don't think he'll be keeping it very long. Ali, he's on really old medium, 64% on his front left, so he's going to drop a long way back. And there we go, Kong Hoffner into the net lead of this race for 9th place, JM 10th, Casper in 11th. Ali's going to pit in this lap, and that'll promote all their drivers up one more space. I'd say that now this is looking between JM and Casper for the win of this race, and that could also decide the championship. If Casper finishes second without the fastest lap, he doesn't win the championship if JM wins. If Casper does win the race, he takes the championship. Kong on mediums I can't see being a threat, and I think Ali's going to lose so much time in the next lap just having to stay out that extra lap that he'll drop out of DRS range. I can't see him being too much of a threat. So the top 2 in the championship could well be the top 2 in the race, and whatever order they finish in is going to decide whether JM takes it to the final round or whether Casper will be crowned the King of France.
Let's see. Well, the kingdom on the opportunity then right now. I tell you what, JM wanting to have a little bit like a move here. He's going at it like a stabbed rat out of hell right now. So much quicker, but he doesn't need to be doing that nearly then. Almost runs into the back here. Remember, we've got Concoffman, we've got Gogs. All of these guys on slower tyres, on mediums. Gogs right now is almost pretty much a moving chicane. The say here is he's getting well out of the way of this one. He doesn't want to get involved in any of this. I tell you what, though, that's going to give DRS a Concoffner right now. That might just save him for maybe a second, but it's not going to matter too much here. Let's see, it might just hold him there. Let's see, is he going to have a lunge? No, he's going to think better of it right now. He knows right now that a contact here is the last thing he needs. But he knows as well DRS is going to be active down this next straight. He needs not to make a mistake. Heed the warnings he saw of Casper just earlier on. A mistake for one can drop yourself right down the back. Though Casper right now is looking dandy here. He's just sitting back. He's just relaxing. He knows he's going to have an opportunity in a little bit to get past Concoffner. He knows Jem's going to get past. Now it's all about not making something that he's going to regret.
Yeah, definitely. Even like second place would not be a disastrous result. Hell, third place would not be a disaster. It means JM's not gaining as much as you need. And here we go. Casper just so much extra grip, I think, but runs out of ERS, starts clipping and can't get past Konghofner. This could allow JM to escape. Ali's 4 seconds behind these guys. That's how much he lost, having to go that one extra lap on the set of medium tyres. So you can probably discount him as Casper thinks about one down the inside of Konghofner. In the end, I think realises that was just going to end up with him spinning around due to the physics of this game and decides to think better of it. Neon and Colin, and I think some of the others coming into the pit. So Rogue now takes the lead of this race. That's going to promote JM, Kong, Casper and Ali into 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th respectively. This is a great opportunity for JM to seal the victory in this race. Konghofner still holding Casper up, and turn 1 isn't a fantastic opportunity for an overtake. And there we go, he can't really go for it on this occasion, as we have a yellow flag in Sector 3, and that is Estimat, who is off the circuit. No damage done, I believe, though, to his car. So Rogue now leads. JM, the lead car that has done 2 stops. Kong holding off Casper for now, and that just could help the Haas driver keep this alive for one more week.
Well, right now, really, JM probably wants to be slowing down ever so slightly, but never mind that. Look here, he doesn't want to be slowing down anymore because look, the inside line there for Casper. A little bit of a attempt to a block there, a bit of contact almost on the straight there. It looked like, again, trying to go around the outside is the McLaren. But now Casper up into 2nd position, a big twitch slow. He has no ERS and looks straight back here, bang, wallop. Round the outside, here comes the McLaren. And Casper has absolutely nothing to battle for. He has no ERS. He has nothing to defend. But at least guys keep battling. He's allowing Jem to get away. And you almost can say this almost is going to help Casper in the long run. Because if he can keep these tyres working and he gets no DRS on Konghofner, he should be able to fly past.
Yeah, maybe he needs to think about saving his ERS. I think what did that move was partly obviously the lack of electrical energy in his battery, but partly he went too deep into turn 8 into the braking zone for the chicane, and that gave Kong such a better exit. But just look at the grip that Casper has got. Is he going to be ahead before the braking zone of turn 1? Yes, he is. So Casper now into 2nd place, Konghofner in 3rd. Kong needs to try and hang on to Casper, who again loses the car, and this might be another opportunity for Kong to try and have a go down the inside into turn 3. Can he make this move stick? The Racing Point's still going to try and hang on in there for turn 4, and in the end Casper stays ahead. He's not enjoying these soft tyres though by the looks of it, as Estimat becomes our first retirement in the pit lane.
Yeah, he has, but there, I can see that. Look at the rear end. Look at the amount of time, Luke. Like, Konghofner has just lost there in one corner because of the medium to soft tyres there. Casper is absolutely flown away. 6 tenths in one corner. And now Casper, he knows right now he needs to look at those tyres. He might want to win this race, but look there, bottom right on your screen, fuel. That could be something he has to look out for. He also needs to know, remember, the cars behind him hasn't got to worry about fuel. I'll tell you what, as well here, we are still expecting Neon to come in the pits, I believe. Are we not at some point? No, he's already done his stop. He's on fresh tyres, so he's done a double stab on those tyres as well. And Neon is really doing what he needs to do for this Constructors' Championship, isn't he?
Yeah, he's put in a fantastic performance today from 6th on the grid. He was the lead car, I believe, on the medium tyres, and that, in the end, maybe hasn't helped it too much at the front of the field. Yellow flag. I'm not sure if which AlphaTauri that is, actually. Both of them have retired in the pits, so we are down to 15 runners. But yeah, Neon's done a fantastic job, and as things stand at the moment, it would still be enough for the Constructors' Championship. Ali B has got a 3-second time penalty, the first of this lead group, as Colin sets the fastest lap of the race. So even if Ali gets ahead of Kong Hofner, he's got to try and get 3 seconds ahead, and I can't see him doing that even with the tyre advantage in the final 5 laps of this race. It might be a pretty tasty one though to watch out for. JM just getting away from Kong on that 1 extra lap. Look at the difference he's made. He's 2.2 seconds ahead. He just needs to focus on keeping it clean. If he gets a penalty, as Ali makes his way past Kong Hofner, if JM gets a penalty, that swings it back into Casper's favour to take the win in the championship tonight.
Yeah, Kiki currently a 3-second time penalty for him. He's currently down there in top position so far, which is not too bad. He's ahead of Cloudy Cam and Zone D, all 3 of those having their own misfortunes so far. Ali B right now really trying to close up on Casper right now. Casper doesn't look like he's got any pace on those Red Bull tyres, because look at him dropping up towards Ali B, who's on those quicker tyres. And remember, if Casper finishes 3rd, JM must win to get to the next race. But remember right now, with Ali B's 3-second time penalty, he doesn't want to be making any more mistakes, but he knows if he can get past Casper and just try and pull any type of gap, he can go for it. But there we go, look at it, straight away, straight through, and it's like taking candy from a baby though, isn't it, Luke?
Yeah, fastest lap of the race as well, so I think that swings it back into Haas could keep the championship alive in the Constructors. They'd be 37 points behind with a 38 possible remaining at Brazil, so alive, I mean on life support at the moment for JM and Haas's championship ambitions. But they're doing a good job tonight. Ali now up into 2nd. He's got to try and break away by 3 seconds, and I really can't see that happening. JM has 2 warnings at the moment. Casper only has 1. That 1 extra for JM could really just change the complete outlook of this race, his championship chances, his team's championship chances in the final part. But yeah, if I was Casper, I'd just think, right, now that I've got the DRS, can I save a bit of fuel? Can I save a bit of ERS in the latter stages of this race? Because I don't want to be having to do some drastic saving on the last lap, because that might just bring the McLaren of Kong Hofner back into things.
Indeed, fastest lap for Ali B is so far. That is really kind of almost awkward right now for Jem, because I mean, he will take it for the next race, but what's the point difference if it's between 3rd and 1st? If things would stand right now, what would the championship points be, Luke, if you know?
I think, as things stand at the moment, Casper would be leading the championship on 141. JM would be on 124. So he'd be 17 behind with 21 remaining, which means with Casper having that extra, having more wins when it comes to the countback, Casper a 9th or 10th with the fastest lap would do it for him next week. So Casper's not going to be worried right now. He knows if he stays behind Ali, let's not forget that'll be the difference between 1st and 2nd. All of a sudden, he'd be 20 points ahead in the championship with a possible 21 remaining. He'd need 1 point in the final race next week at Interlagos. And so far this season, that looks very likely that he would get 1 point next week. But yeah, I'm surprised by his pace on these soft tyres at the moment, because Ali seems to be able to break away at this moment in time. And the good news for Ali is he's now 3 seconds ahead of Kong Hofner as Casper gets a penalty. Well, oh well, oh well, that might bring Kong Hofner back into things. That shows how hard he's been pushing, because he only had one warning a couple of laps ago, and according to TAS system he's still only got 2 warnings. So I think maybe there was a bit of a glitch there between the TAS system and what was actually happening on the game. But yeah, Casper now with that 3 second time penalty. That's good news for Ali B and very good news for JM.
Well, this has put a bit more of a spanner in the works for Casper's title hopes right now. But Ali B needs to make sure he does not make a mistake or something goes wrong here, because right now he's closing pretty quickly, you might say, on JM, and JM's probably telling Ali B, slow down, I don't want you to get overtaking me. And I say that as Ali B now just sets lap time 1.7 seconds slower than his last lap, so maybe he is just conserving it ever so slightly. Maybe those tyres as well going off. Right now, though, Casper has nothing to lose. If I was Casper, save as much ERS as possible. And he really just needs to try and get past Ali B. Has to throw everything he's got at it.
Yeah, and JM here slowing down, maybe to try and help Ali B with that DRS. JM really slowing down in the last few laps. Kind of worryingly so. If we're being perfectly honest, we've got a yellow flag and it's Okiki facing the wrong way, down in 15th. The penalties were going to cost him on the points anyway, but yeah, I'm surprised by JM here. Is this just pure pace? But why has he gone so slow all of a sudden? Because with 1 lap to go, Ali's going to be right behind him. It's not going to affect him on track if Ali and Casper get ahead of him, but what if they make contact all of a sudden? That could completely change things. As things stand, Casper would actually finish 5th in this race because Kong Hofner is still within a second, so he needs to try and go for it on this lap as Okiki gets another penalty. To be fair, he could take something from this race. This is the best he's looked in all the races I've commentated in. Just a mistake at the end there, costing him any chance of points. And on to the final lap of the race. JM looks as though he's going to be taken to win as they actually take the final corner for the penultimate time. JM's going to win out on track. But after the penalties, who's going to see the checkered flag first, though? I'm not quite so sure.
Well, remember, JM needs to be careful he doesn't get himself a penalty either, because if he gets a penalty, then absolutely everything's in the works right now. Especially, this is just working ever so slightly then for the man in JM then, currently running in that position. Casper, again, another little corner cut. And I'm wondering here if surely Ali B's not going to try and make a move here on that position, as Kiki looks like he's having more troubles right now then at the back of the circuit. Here we are, DRS slipstream. Is Ali B going to have a little look then? Surely JM's going to get out of the way of this one. Just let him through. No, right now, yeah, indeed he has just let him through. Just sit there, just relax. And I'm wondering if he's going to try and back Casper ever so slightly up here. Ever so slightly. This could be mind games at its very best between these two positions. But so far, JM, second position. If he gets a penalty right now, he is absolutely going to be buggered.
Yeah, definitely. If he gets a penalty, he's going to be in big trouble for Ali. And also, I think it would still mean they've got a chance of the championship next time around. Although, with Kong being fairly close, you never quite know. But Ali, he's driven a fantastic race, and especially to try and catch up that gap, but it's just not quite going to be enough for him to take a victory.
Indeed, Ali B then crosses the line. He'll take the checkered flag. He won't win it. JM is going to do what he needs to do to keep this championship alive to the next race. Konkofner's going to finish 3rd. Casper is going to finish in 4th position. It's no championship today then for Casper. Neon in 5th position, leading the championship for the constructors. Should go, I believe, to the next race, Luke.
Yeah, they've not done it. Perfect 38 out of 38 for Haas. 22 for Racing Point means that it has now, I believe, a 35-point gap with 38 remaining. And at the top of the Drivers' Championship with 20 points for JM and 12 for Casper, that is now 15 points. So going into the next race, Casper only needs 6 points. A 7th or an 8th with a fastest lap. So he won't be too worried, but I think he'd have wanted to win it today. Just needs to get today out of his mind. Didn't quite work out, and that penalty in the end costing him an extra 2 points and a podium. So a good performance by Kong to keep it clean on those medium tyres. Neon does well into 5th. Colin, he'll get the in-game driver of the day, finishing in 6th. And Rogue, Waitsy, Rich, Tech, Cloudy Balloons and Gogs picking up the final points position. But those Haas cars worked absolutely fantastically today. Ali wins it on track, but after penalties, it's JM who actually takes his first win of the season.
Most certainly, it's waiting for Mr. Okiki to cross the line. I think he's just run out of fuel, as you know. There we go, crosses the line there. Down at the back, again, 0 points there, and a 50th position for Mr. Okiki. Nonetheless, he's got his keep his head high. Colin, driver of the day, his teammate, remember, currently, and you've got to say, at the championship, but with a superb drive. But of course, it is the Haas on the top 2 steps. It is JM taking yet another win. He'll bring that championship down ever so slightly then now to around about, I think, 15 points, give or take there. Konkofner in 3rd position then. but it is going to be, remember, Casper in 4th as well. And your driver of the day, by the way, to Luke.
I think I'm going to go for... I'm going to follow the game, to be perfectly honest. I am going to go for Colin, and I want to ask him what a fantastic job you did in the first stint. You went medium, medium, soft. Does a part of you wish that you'd gone for the softs in the second stint? And if you had done that, do you think you could have challenged Leon for a top 5 place?
Indeed, and let's go for someone out of the blue, shall we? Let's see who has come through the field as I just go quick scroll through everyone and see. And although I'm kind of torn who to give the driver of the day right now, you know what? I'm going to go for someone who didn't actually have a good race, but he never gives up. He never just retires. I'm going to give it to Akiki because he, despite finishing last in almost every race, has kept his head held high. He's kept everything. He's not done what some drivers do if they're having a bad race and just retired, just left. He's carried on. He's done everything he needs to do. And I'm going to ask you a question to him and say, although you're having a bad season, compared to some people, of course, who would normally give up, you're keeping your head held high. And you've got to say, just thank you. I've got to say, it's not a question really, it's me just saying thank you, isn't it? But just as a driver who's down the back, how hard is it, who's having a bad season? It's hard to word it, isn't it, actually? Oh, this isn't going well, is it, for driver of the day? But my question, let's just say, the question is really to Akiki. With a season that's struggling, how are you doing keeping your head held high? And just how amazing you've been just to continue everything.
Yeah, definitely. It does. It's a bit annoying when you're always near the back, and trust me, it's a feeling that I am very well familiar with. We've gone for driver today for both of the Williams drivers. You'll be able to vote for that on Twitter. We could have easily gone for both of the Haas drivers. JM not putting a foot wrong. Out of that top 3, the only one to not get any penalties. Out of the top 3 that finished out on track, Kong obviously got promoted into the top 3 because he kept it clean. But yeah, JM, he did everything he could today. Apart from the fastest lap, he did everything that he could, and he'll be delighted that he's kept it going to the next round. And you never know what could happen. 2007, Lewis Hamilton losing it. 2008, Lewis Hamilton nearly losing it. 2009, Button having to come from the back. 2012, Vettel getting spun round. Things happen in championship challenges at Brazil, and if JM gets a win next time out, Casper, yes, he only needs top 7 or top 8 with the fastest lap, but an incident on the first lap could well make things very difficult for the Racing Point driver.
Indeed, and of course, Luke, this time, who knows, I'm probably going to see you next week, because every time I said this is the last time I'm going to see you come back. So, thank you again for joining me. In 7 days' time, I'm going to presumably maybe reverse myself here and welcome you back again, because it's been a habit. But thank you for joining me yet again, Luke.
You're welcome, you're welcome. I do enjoy the Brazilian Grand Prix, so who knows, I might make myself available despite other sporting events perhaps being around next week. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat know what we're talking about. But yeah, we'll see if I am back next week, and it would be pretty good to commentate over a championship battle at Brazil, I've got to say.
And indeed, and don't forget as well to go on the YouTube, because they are live with the top tier, I believe, currently right now. I think that race may have just started, so do go and watch that. But I have been Evil, Luke has been Luke, everyone has left the lobby, I'm all on my own. But take care, see you next week, and goodbye, and of course, see you at Brazil.